I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to make this Sapphire Sparkle Bracelet, which is actually one of the kits in this month's subscription box. If you've been thinking about a subscription, now is a beautiful time to go in and subscribe to get 3 kits sent to you automatically each month. If you want to check out the materials that are in this bracelet or get more information about the subscription, look below the video. In the description, we'll go links to give you back to our website to check everything out. Gather up your supplies and let's get started. To begin this bracelet design, we're going to be building components holding in the SS39 Chaton. And we have 11 seed beads, 11 Delicas, and 3x5 millimeter drops. The first thing we're going to do is add onto our needle and thread here. And I'm using green wildfire, a size 6 or a size 8 will work. I'm adding 4 groups of 4. So 16 total Delica beads, which are going to be set in groups of 4. We're going to start thinking of it as a square, and after those 16 beads are added, you want to drop them down to the bottom of your thread. Nice tight pull. And pull. From here, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the first 4 beads that I added. Those 4 beads, when we come out, we're going to start to do this in a netting form. So after those 4 beads, I want you to add 2 of your Delica beads. And you're going to add 2 of the Delica beads onto the sides. So where we're doing that is we're going to go in right now. And in between each, I'm going to pick one 11 and I'm going to sew through the next 4 Delicas. One 11 through the next 4 Delicas. And this is making that into that squared section. Another seed bead, and once again through the 4 Delicas. Another seed bead for the corner, and through the 4 Delicas. You'll notice I came the whole way through, coming out through the 11 seed bead, because this is where we're going to add those 1 and 2 Delicas, followed by 1 11 followed by 1 and 2 Delicas. We're going to switch or flip over to the next 11 and sew through that so you have that little bit of a point there. That little bit of a point is going to come up then and hold our Chaton in place. So again, 1 and 2 Delicas, 1 11 1 and 2 Delicas, and into the next corner 11 Proceed doing this a total of 4 times as we go around catching on to all of these corners. After you have these on, I want you to bring your needle and thread through the first 2 11 seed beads, first 2 11 Delicas, and then also in here and out through the 11 seed bead. Once you're out the 11 seed bead, we're going to use this to kind of pull it towards the front and connect those 11 seed beads with 2 Delicas. What this is going to do is to form a little unit, and our Chaton is actually going to sit in the interior. So we're going to pull up on those 11 1 and 2 of my Delicas into the next 11 that we just put on between our 2 Delica beads. That pulls towards the center. I'm going to do 2 more, and then I'm going to make sure to drop my Chaton in. Going through that center bead there then, and in through those beads. I'm going to pull that tail towards the back just to get it out of the way. And then once again, 2 Delicas into the next 11 seed bead that we just added. I'm going to put that all towards the front. I'm going to do the last 2 Delicas, and notice I have not pulled tight yet. Back into that first 11 seed bead. I'm going to drop in my Chaton, push it down towards the bottom, and do a nice tight pull. And see how that goes right in there. That Chaton, that point is going to sit in the back. And what we're going to do is we're going to tighten this up. To tighten it up, we're going to go through all those beads one more time again. Going through the Delica and the 11 seed bead. Delica's 11 seed bead, and you can see it kind of wants to pull open as you go around and pull it nice and tighter. It stays nice and closed. And that's important anytime you're using a Chaton, a Rivoli, anytime you're creating a bezel like this, you want two threads going through the beads that are closest to the center or where it's kind of all holding in. After going around the whole time, we're going to drop down to the outer edge here, and we are going to go down through the 11 seed beads after one of the 8 OC beads through the next two Delicas, and then I want you to come out through that corner 11 seed bead, which would have been the first grouping of 11 O's that we added between each one of our groups of 4 Delicas. Do you want to get over $100 of premium beads for only $34.99? The new and improved PotomacBeads Treasure Box is a beautiful assortment of high-quality beads featuring both classic and new materials. As a monthly subscriber, you'll save up to 60% off retail prices. Get your Treasure Box subscription today for only $34.99 and $100 worth of beads. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscribe or click on the link in the description. Once you're coming out of the corners, I want you to add 3 seed beads, and you're circling back through that same bead that you're coming out of, creating a little right angle weave there. You're going to go through the next 4 beads that are along the bottom, which is giving you a nice set of another thread going through along the bottom of the Chaton as well. 1, 2, 3 more seed beads, and back through that bead that your thread was coming out of. Through the next 4 beads, back through 1, 2, and 3, through that same bead. And we're just putting right angle weave units basically on the corners of all of the 11 O's. If you want to, you can also do this at the beginning. There's no right or wrong for that. Just easier usually to pull that back for the sides if you do it after the fact. All right, now we get to go in and add in our drops. Now the drops, the way that we're going to sit them is that the biggest part kind of goes towards the center. I want you to go into your 3 beads, going through bead number 1, going through bead number 2, and coming out bead number 3. Coming out bead number 3 here, you're going to add in one of your drops. And the first one, it doesn't matter which way you pick it up. You're going to go into the next group of 3. Once you're in that next group of 3, now it matters. So we have the drops here. What I want to do is make them kind of mirror images. So I'm going to put the bigger side of the drop first, the smaller side of the drop second, because the bigger side is the one that I came out of. Matching it up. Going through those corners. And now here on this side, I'm coming out, I have the smaller end first. So I'm going to put the smaller end first to match. Go into the next corner. And there's not a huge difference in the drops. You can also use the ingots for this as well too. And now once again here I'm coming out. Big end is what I'm coming out of, so I'm going to mirror that and go into my next drop. Bigger side first, going into the smaller side, and then once again into that corner unit. Now your drops are smaller than the corner unit, and what's going to happen is that's going to pull back just a tiny little bit, popping the Rivoli up, which is what we want to happen. That is our first unit and our first unit design. We're going to get ready to connect these and then do more units. After completing one component, or in this case, I have 8 of my components done, I'm going to go in and show you how to add and start your next component. So if you have one done now, what you're going to do is coming out of that last bead on the corner, you're going to add a Delica, 11 Delica. So back into that bead from the opposite direction, making a right angle weave unit. Go up through bead number 1, which would be the first Delica. You're going to go through bead number 2, which is your 11 OC bead. And that's coming out on the right-hand side of this right angle unit. When you're out there, I want you to add 1, 2, and 3 more 11-0 seed beads back into the 11-0 that your thread is coming out of from the opposite side. Once you're coming into there from the opposite angle, you pull that into one more right angle weave. You're going to go through bead number 1 and come out bead number 2 of those that you added. Once you've added that, that's your link, getting these all linked together. You're going to go in now and add that original grouping of your 4 groups of 4. So I'm going to get it in now and add 16 beads. And now that those 16 beads are on, you're going to go into the opposite side of that 11-0 seed bead that your thread is coming out of. That makes a loop of Delicas that are connected by that 11-0. I'm going to sew through beads 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Delicas. Come on out and we'll get our square by adding another 11-0 in. Sew through the next 1, 2, 3, and 4 Delicas. Nice tight pull. Add another 11. Sew through the next 4 Delicas. Nice tight pull. Add an 11. Sew through the next 4 Delicas. After I sew through those 4 Delicas, I'm going to hop over top of the 11-0 that was our link there, and I'm going to sew right into the next 4 Delicas. Once I sew into those next 4 Delicas, I'm going to let my needle and thread come out through my corner 11-0 seed bead. Once I'm through that corner 11-0, we're going in and we're adding our 2 Delicas, 11, 2 Delicas. Whole way around doing that, catching on to those corner 11-0s, just like we did to start. So at this point now, nothing changes. It's all the same, going in and adding those corners. And when you get over to the next one, which is near the connection point right here, you're going to go into that bead that's closest, that corner one. Go in here, adding your 2 beads, and into the corner, finishing that connection. Once you're through that connection, once again, go through the first 2 Delicas as well as the first 11-0 seed bead from that row that you just catted. Come on out, and then you're going to do your 2 Delicas connecting to the 11-0 that sits there that you just added, bringing up to do your bezel and continuing on. It's the same thing then over and over to get the length of bracelet that you want to achieve. Most likely you're going to need about 9 units, but you could need 10 too, depending on your wrist size. Once you finish your bracelet design, it is time to put on your clasp. I'm using a clasp guarding clasp here, and I'm going to come out of my end of my bracelet just like I would be getting ready to do my link. And instead of going in and doing the right angle weave with the beads here for the Delicas, I'm going to go in and I am going to add 1 and 2 and 3 more of my 11-0 seed beads. So back into the bead that the thread was coming out of, we're going to go up into bead number 1, go into bead number 2, sew into one side of your clasp, and you want to make sure that it's front facing because your clasp here does have a side there, so you're going to make sure that you're going front facing. And we're going to sew into the opposite side of that clasp. We're going to go back through again the clasp, going in from back towards the front through the loop. One more time, 3rd time's the charm. I always like to get 2 to 3 times through the clasp, 3 preferably. And then after doing so, we're going to go sew back down into the design. Finish off this thread. Going in towards the end here, up towards the design. I'm going to flip it over to the back, and I'm going to end my thread towards the interior of the project. I'm going to flip over and do the same thing along the other side, using the other side of the clasp. I'm going to go underneath the bridge thread here, which is the thread connecting one bead to the other. Making sure I'm above that one. Making a loop underneath the thread. I'm going to sew into that loop once. Pull it just a little bit smaller, sew into that loop twice, looping around. What that's going to do is create a nice sewer's knot. Give it a nice tight pull. And I'm going to cut down on the extra wire using a thread burner or a thread zap, or even I just have my cutter here. I'm going to burn down the end of my thread and flip over and attach to the other side. On the other side, I'm going to keep the clasp together, so I make sure that I attach to the correct side of the clasp, and we're going to do the exact same method. 3 beads going in and connecting to this one. Once you're done attaching your clasp, your bracelet is finished there, and you have this gorgeous design. Again, I used 9 of them. You can use 10 if you need to make a more comfortable bracelet, and you have some left over to make a pair of earrings as well. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this Sapphire Shine bracelet. It's nice to use the Chatons. You'll have extra over even to make a pair of earrings if you want to. Remember, if you do want to check out the full material list or get more information on our subscriptions, go ahead and look below the video in that show more description. Click on that, you'll get back to our website. As always, thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.